that today we have all the food we need to feed all the people in the world a reasonable amount so that we should never have malnutrition. How do we deal with that fact when the reason we're given as to why that doesn't exist is because markets do not allow it to exist? Okay? Supply and demand is out of kilter. People don't have the money to pay for the food. Okay? But we have the food. We have all of the energy resources we need to make sure that nobody freezes. We can and should have all the housing that we need to make sure that nobody goes homeless. We should be able to make sure that infant mortality is not an issue. We should make sure that really disease is not an issue, because we got enough drugs. I mean, you can produce drugs like that. Okay? But 400 years ago, we decided, when confronted with the question of how the ruling people in the nation states would deal with things, and when they confronted the fact that there may be real problems, they said, let markets, let this arm's length mechanism called the market, which would deal with the distribution of scarce resources by and between competing entities, they meant nation states, in a state of imperfect information, which meant that people would go out and try to find out what's going on, and whoever had the most information would effectively win the game. We call that intellectual property today. We call it all sorts of things. And then add to that that if you won the game, you accumulated capital, and you could sell capital and make a return on the capital, along with goods and services, and therefore dominate. We let that happen. So now the question is, how do we introduce this really, really interesting thing called values into the economic equation? I suggest that is the question for the rest of your life. Right now, let us take a break, Barry, and we'll come back and we'll do the question and answers on this stuff.